Hello.
Hi,
Hello. We're live today, and once again, I came down to Megan's house and forgot the tripods. But
So we rigged it up weird again.
we're a little rigged up, and we're really excited because this is the last time we're gonna have to do this, and we're actually going to be recording these live conversations in a real studio using real equipment, and somebody's gonna produce it for us.
It's called a podcast. So yeah, it's really cool. We are gonna have our own Simply Seasonal podcast every Thursday at noon. We'll be live, so it's gonna take place of this live Q&A. But you can also listen to it recorded like you would any podcast. So you can get it on Apple Podcasts. You can get it on iHeartRadio. What are the other platforms?
Spotify, SoundCloud.
And they even have their own app that you can get as well.
The Vinyl Draft app you can download.
Yeah. So the radio studio we're recording it through is called Vinyl Draft Radio.
That's DRAUGHT, draft.
Like drought.
I keep saying vinyl drought, and it's so, I gotta get that out of my head.
Yes.
Vinyl draft.
So Vinyl Draft Radio, the Simply Seasonal podcast. So that'll be our new platform for doing this Q&A. It's an hour show. Again, it's like a podcast, so you can listen to it, and we're just gonna go in depth about the episodes that we covered that aired earlier in the week in the cooking show. We just go in depth in the podcast.
Mm-hmm. So same format as it has been, but a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so today we're going to get into barbecuing and grilling, which was this week's episode, and I'm sure a lot of you did some grilling this weekend for Memorial Day. Down here it was beautiful weather. It was a great time to do it. And yeah, so grilling and barbecuing, when we were making this episode, we were kind of realizing like most of it is really crappy ingredients in food, like the standard American diet, right? It's like American cheese, really processed meats, hot dogs, just things that literally make you sick sometimes to even think of it.
Bread. Hey, Jack. Bread that can last on the shelf for like months and doesn't go moldy, and it doesn't even go stale. Like there's something wrong with that when your bread doesn't go stale.
Yeah. And it just doesn't even taste good. I love bread. I'll do anything for like a good bread. But yeah, those hamburger buns and hot dog buns, I mean, as someone was saying, it's kind of like the Wonder Bread where you like smush it together in a ball because it's just like so awful and you could like throw it at people.
At IIN, he does a demonstration where he takes a whole loaf of Wonder Bread and smushes it into this big. Like he just pops a hole in the... opens a hole in the bag, and you can smush the Wonder Bread literally into a ball this big. Like that's how it's not made of anything except like chemicals and dust.
Yeah.
So we want bread with substance.
So really, like our episode, we're like, okay, this like grilling, like let's up level our grilling. Why do we downgrade the quality of food when we throw things on the grill? It should be the same quality that we're eating through and through, right? And using the seasonal ingredients too. So what's in season for this time of year should be on your grill. Of course, grilling's more of a summertime thing, but Memorial Day is kind of like that transition between spring and summertime. The kickoff. So we're starting to do more of the grilling.
And we went right to the burgers because a lot of times when you are grilling, it's when you're having a party and there's a lot of people coming over. And so even though we're encouraging you to stay with the grass-fed meat, going for the ground meat is definitely going to be more economical to feed a crowd. So doing burgers is a really good idea. And who doesn't love a burger?
Yeah, and you can get really creative with grilling too, you know? Like the other day, actually the potato salad recipe that's on our episode for that, right? We made it without mayo with this beautiful Dijon dressing. I actually roasted the potatoes on the grill, just on a sheet pan like you would in the oven, but I used the grill because it was already hot. We were barbecuing, and they were perfectly roasted and delicious, and then I tossed it with some kale and that dressing, and oh my gosh, it was so, so good. So yeah, it's just you can get a little bit more creative too with using your grill like an oven or like a stovetop.
Yeah, I put everything on the grill. We're gonna do some grilled pizza.
I was like, we are? Oh, yeah, we are. It's going to be a really good, delicious recipe.
But also with the, I just want to go back to the ground meat and making it go farther. We shared a tip of putting all those sauteed veggies in with the meat. And so usually a pound of this grass-fed meat that I make will make 3 burgers or 4 pretty small burgers. And then once I mixed in all those, the spinach and mushrooms and onions, I was able to make 4 good sized burgers. So it just bulked it up just a little bit more. And so that was really nice. And Megan has a tip to, what is it? Grate in an onion into your ground meat. And I'm trying that next time because that just sounds amazing.
It's really good. So,
and rosemary. You did rosemary too.
Yeah, because I made my burgers more like gyro style. So I wanted it to imitate like a gyro. We were putting it in pita bread with some tzatziki sauce.
Do you mean a gyro?
Yeah, you pronounce it gyro.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I was like, I think I said that right.
I just love when people say gyro.
So I was like, okay, what would make it taste more like, first of all, I wasn't using lamb, and gyros are usually lamb, but so I took the half of an onion and grated it, which gives it a lot of moisture and a lot of flavor. And then I did some grated rosemary in there to give it more of that Mediterranean kind of thing. Hey, Catherine. Good to see you.
That looks so good. And then the tzatziki sauce.
We just had it for lunch.
We just ate it. It was really good.
I make it with coconut oil instead of dairy.
Coconut milk?
Milk. Thank you. Coconut milk. That'd be weird. Anyway.
Okay, so that is your burger. We talked about the bread. Just make your bread count. Go for some fresh rolls, or skip the bread. There's a lot about food combining. If you eat a burger and you feel like, oh my, so full, that has to do with having meat and carbohydrates at the same time. So there's a theory out there, the food combining theory, where either you have like a grain or carbohydrate, so grain and veggies, or meat and veggies. And that is how your body can digest a little bit easier. Because sometimes those enzymes that are digesting meat, they compete with the enzyme that is digesting carbohydrates. Mm-hmm. So it could be trouble for your body. And when you skip the bun, you just feel so much lighter afterwards. But sometimes you just want that bun.
I love the bun.
I know. Like there's something about biting into it that just, when we went over to Asia years ago, everything is the food is so organized and neat, and you're eating with the chopsticks and all this stuff. And I just wanted to go home and bite into a burger and have it drip all over my face.
So American.
And I'm like, this is American. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it makes sense with the enzyme thing, because actually this concept I hadn't heard of before when Kara's telling me. But then I'm like, well, that makes sense, because your saliva digests, it has amylase and prolase, and those digestive enzymes in your saliva digest carbohydrates and fats. So like Kara's saying, if you're having bread with meat, now your enzymes are having to work overtime. Plus the other thing is we're usually chew, swallow. So we're already missing all of that digestion up there. So then we end up being like, oh my God, I ate too much, or I ate too fast.
We got to keep it up here more. Mm-hmm.
Yep, digest here. Yeah, and then also about digestion. So I wrote a post on it this morning about the pickle, and we talked about it in our episode too, about pickles paired with hamburgers is a great idea, because pickles help stimulate the digestive juices like we were talking about. It'll help stimulate more saliva in the mouth. Also, your hydrochloric acid in your stomach and your bile to go into your small intestine to further break down the fats and carbohydrates. So that's what fermented foods do. Any soured, pickled, fermented will help stimulate the digestive juices, because when you grilling is such a hot, high heat, quick cooking process. And when we're doing that to protein, animal protein, it seizes really quickly, and you'll notice that, right? Like a chicken
and
breast.
we're trying to do that on purpose for that texture, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this quick seize. But what that does is now the body has to break that down. When you grill something, you always have to eat it either with like a knife and a fork or something like that. It's not falling off the bone, right? It's this really quick hot heat. So the body needs a lot of digestive fire to break that down. Most Americans, and when I say that, I'm even including myself in this, have a weak digestive fire because we're always compromised by poor quality foods, right? We're not eating straight out of our garden every single day. Like, we have toxins in our environment. It's just we don't have the strong digestive fire, especially if we eat poor quality food. So it's even more important that if we do eat this type of food, like the grilled, we need to pair it with something pickled or fermented.
I think that's an amazing, I mean, I guess I've always felt that, but not understood why. And something we didn't talk about in the video, which afterwards we're like, oh, we should have talked about this. But you guys, it's so hard to keep it to 5-6 minutes. Look at us. We're already 11 minutes in here. Marinating. So, if you marinate meat beforehand, before grilling, it's going to have that same kind of, it helps break down the protein fiber, right?
Right, because it's going to make it more tender because it's pre-cooking it, right? And we've talked about this in other episodes, like with cruciferous veggies, and we always say, like, try to cook your cruciferous vegetables, but if you have them raw, sprinkle some salt and massage them, because even that process is similar enough to a cooking process that it actually changes the chemistry. So it's similar to cooking, which helps your body digest. Or something fermented, or if you're gluten intolerant or have sensitivities, having a sourdough bread, because it's already fermenting and digesting the gluten and the wheat for you, so it's easier for your body to digest.
Good advice.
Yeah, and I think we've talked also, Kara and I, just separately about like grilled chicken and how it's so common on everyone's plate, and we think we're being really healthy by having like grilled chicken on top of a salad. But again, like, that's a lot for the body to digest. And for a lot of people's conditions, they usually need the opposite. Either they need to be eating more just plant foods and they need to be cleansing and clearing, or they need to be more built and grounded. And the easier that can be done, the easiest way to have that done is through something that's actually already slow cooked and kind of falling off the bone and really easy for the body to digest. So having something grilled is fun, it's good to do, but it's not usually the primary way that you want things to be cooked because it's so difficult.
And look at how the process of it is just a little bit more difficult. Lighting the fire. I mean, that says something about it, right? It's like it should be more of a sometimes, not all the time thing. Right?
Yeah. So, and that's the beauty of eating in season. You do your grilling now, right? You're not doing it year round. And people are eating grilled chicken breasts on top of their salads year round. That's where we run into the issue. Right now, we'll be barbecuing a lot. We're about to do a kitchen renovation. We're going to be barbecuing
primary
a lot.
Oven in this house.
But like, good thing we weren't barbecuing all winter long, because that would be really, one, boring, and two, our bodies would be like, oh my God, we need something different. This is too much. So everything in balance.
So you want to talk about condiments now?
Sure.
So take a look at your condiments. Sometimes I am amazed when I open up friends' refrigerators and see like there's so many condiments in there. Like, what is all that stuff?
Yeah, what is that?
Like, why are there so many jars and bottles of stuff? Like, you don't need all this stuff. Like, all the sauces and oh my gosh, it's like enough to, I don't even know where to start. Take a look at the ingredients in all that stuff, you guys. Most of it is sugar, a lot of MSG. I mean, when we're talking about barbecue condiments and ketchup and mustard, even that gets complicated. So, but what's so cool is that, I always say that when I buy something at the grocery store, those are my voting dollars. Like, what you pay for is telling that company, this is what we want more of, right? And so many people, I mean, we are showing them that we don't want high fructose corn syrup, we don't want certain things. And so now, I mean, that then becomes the next buzzword selling words, but like Heinz ketchup is now making Simply Heinz. So it's not necessarily organic, but it's like no high fructose corn syrup. And it's like, okay, that's a step up, you know, it's a step. They're trying.
Yeah.
But we've also found some really cool, like off brands, like smaller places that are making these like little gourmet ketchups. And so it's like, why not? You know,
they
how much
taste so good and
Yeah.
real. Like it tastes like tomato, and you're like, wow. Before with the Heinz and the stuff we usually have, it's just this sweet with a tang, which is what they're going for, because they're really trying to play. Marketing is always playing on those flavors, and we're ingrained to want to be attracted to really strong flavors. So if they can play well on that sweet, but then that vinegar, because that creates your mouth to water and actually want more, so it creates an addiction. They have it down. It's literally a science. Even a potato chip that you bite into has the exact crunch and the exact salt and whatever ratio to make your mouth water and want more, so you can't just have one. It's
Have you heard that whole thing about like the Starbucks drinks? How they actually will do like brain, like neuro scans, like they'll watch you like as you drink it, and like the formula that makes your brain, your like addiction part light up the most is the formula they go with.
For sure.
Yeah.
All those big brands do. And so that's for me personally why I don't ever support big brands.
Don't sell out.
I don't ever support big brands unless it's like literally I'm in a pickle, or Danny will be like, Megan, I got this, and I'm just like, oh, and he's like, it's organic, and I'm like, I know, you did a really good job, thank you, sweetie, but like I don't want to support these big companies, because as much as yes, I would love them to change, they're never going to change enough to make the difference that's needed, because they're always having the money be the driving force and not the people or the health. And so that's why I find it so important to go to these smaller companies. They taste better anyway. They taste more homemade. They're real. They're really there. They have better intent, you know, all of that stuff. So, I mean, that's a personal thing for me. And I just think like the grassroots is really how we can make change with this kind of stuff when it comes to our
find those
health.
small little ketchup people. And support them.
Yeah.
And look at their ingredients, and you'll see they're pretty pure.
They're like basic.
And then, okay, so let's talk about mayo, because mayo is so indulgent. I don't put mayo on my burger. My husband loves it. We just get real mayo. We get the Trader Joe's organic mayo, and it's just egg yolks, oil, and spices, and that's it. And that's all it should be. And so really simple. And you know, when I have a burger out and they put mayo on it and I bite into it and I go, oh my gosh, there's something so indulgent in here that I wouldn't have done for myself at home. Like it really does, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
but then like my mom and even Megan was like, well, I have some veganese, you know? And so you think you're doing a good thing trying to replace the mayonnaise, because you're like, maybe my body doesn't need all those fats and whatever. So let me get this veganese. Look at the ingredients of veganese. And so my mom had two we were talking about, and she goes, oh my gosh, the wasabi flavored one has like 20 ingredients in there more than the regular one. And I'm like, Mom, just eat real mayo, right? Like, just if you're gonna eat mayo, just eat mayo. And if you wanna be a vegan about it, put an avocado on your burger.
Yes.
That's the vegan mayo.
Yeah, when we're imitating foods, we have to be so careful about it, because we start to create, we're trying to mimic that food so much, even like with a gluten-free bread. Like I've made them from scratch before, and you need all these different types of flours. Some of them are like, okay, whatever, it's rice flour, it's this flour, but then it's like, okay, now we're getting into xanthan gum, and now we're getting into these other things that are binders and things to fluff it, because we're trying to imitate something that it's not. This is where it's starting to become a slippery slope. So like a veganese, there's not a lot of things in nature that have that same texture and everything. So they're trying to mimic it. So you look at the ingredients.
Yeah, and I don't even know what kind of oils they use. Is
well,
it
that was
plant
why
oil?
actually
I mean, it has to be
one-
plant oils. But
the
are they
one-
processed ones or?
It depends. But the one that I got, Danny actually grabbed it, and I was like, oh, okay, because it was with the avocado oil company that we always use.
Okay.
So he's like, oh, I got this, like, just to see if he wanted that instead of whatever, using hummus, which is natural, which is what he usually uses. And then we brought it home, and then for the episode, I was like, oh, I have a vegan mayonnaise. And we looked at it, and we're just like, oh, even though it was a great company that I usually stand behind, and their olive oil or their avocado oil is great, but then I was like, wait, oh, they tried still to make had to something, add, all that stuff in.
And we go into this a little bit more. We just recorded our dairy episode that's coming out in a couple weeks, and we kind of touch on this again. It's they're trying to imitate something that it's not.
So you have to be very careful.
And just accept the new thing of what it is.
Yeah, and eat real whenever you can.
Eat real.
Yep. Get real.
And then, and then with mustard, it's super simple. You just don't want, like I think the classic French's, some of those mustards have like yellow number 5 in them or whatever. They're trying to make them like that bright yellow, and they're just going for like, ooh, pretty, I want that on mine, right? I don't know if it like a kid would be, it's like.
Yeah, it's marketing. Like, they want like yellow and red, right? I mean, you see it on the hot dog commercial. They like line it right next to each other. Yeah. When you look at a real mustard seed, they squiggle. When you look at a mustard seed and you grind it up, it's like super mellow yellow. Like it's not
and
vibrant.
Brownish,
and kind of brownish.
Yeah.
So no, that doesn't sell well.
And there is more yellowy mustard seeds, but not that vibrant yellow. Yeah. So it's okay if it's not completely yellow.
Yeah. So, and then I think just kind of like wrapping this up, because we are coming to the end of springtime. We're just about to go into summertime, which is so exciting. And that is just bringing in this shift where, all spring we were shifting out of winter, prepping for summer. Now we're prepped for summer and really in that summer mode. So our cooking is changing. And so this is kind of the point of bringing up the grilling. That style is more of this, hot, expansive, quick, cooking process, which is much more of that summertime energy versus like roasting in an oven or slow cooking in an oven, right? That's going to be more wintertime and more
and who
warming.
wants a hot oven going in their house anyway,
or like
in
a
the summer.
Soup and like you don't really want that during the summer. So this is when we bring in grilling, because it's more expansive. We bring in a lot more raw foods, right? Because they're cooling and we don't even cook at all, right? We keep them mostly raw.
It's just preparing.
If we do, we might steam them real quick or we might blanch it. But it's like pretty much just like raw, steaming, blanching, some grilling, maybe a little bit of sauteing, and that's it. We're keeping it really high energy, really fresh. That's what's going on for summertime.
Okay, and so let's see. So next week we have an episode coming out all about gut health and even talking about poop. We're so excited about it. It's going to be really fun. And then we get to talk about that on the radio.
That's our first radio.
Our podcast.
We're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be about
podcast is going to be about poop. Shit. Maybe it'll get some attention.
People are going to love us or hate us. So anyway, make sure you stay tuned to all that. If you haven't already, go to simply-seasonal.com and sign up for email updates, because you'll stay posted on our new podcast and you'll always get our cooking show episodes sent straight to you every Monday.
And if you sign up now, you actually get this spring shopping guide, seasonal shopping guide sent to you for free. So go and sign up for our email.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for joining, guys.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.